What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name After Sound. And I do have a new song out recently called Don't Forget About Me, the Supernova version, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, let's talk about Aura. And I know I'm looking at the Midnight Potions here, but the reason I want to talk about Aura is because right now it only has one use, and that is these Midnight Potions. And just to quickly look at the Midnight Potions, I mean, these are down under 3 cents. You can see that there's, a significant, like maybe 1,000 plus of them that are selling below 3 cents. And this went way lower than I think anyone was expecting. I mean, even for me, right? There are other people who thought like Midnight Potions were going to be super expensive. I kind of pegged them at 4 cents, and it went even further below that. But looking back, that peg at 4 cents was very arbitrary. That's just what other, the other potions, which are technically unlimited and even given out for free, that's what they're valued at because that's what the team put them up in the shop for. But really, like, they shouldn't be used as any kind of guide outside of just something psychological. So I was expecting the market to shift sentiment before it got this low. I think that we're in that period now where landowners are looking at this and saying, well, there's no need for me to farm Aura anymore because, well, what am I going to do with it, right? Go sell more Midnight Potions for, something that's racing to the bottom, which gets me to my point, right? The reason why Aura is so important is because it is essentially a proxy for research. And we've had a year and a half plus of people being able to, research, right? And essentially get all these research tokens and not really know what they're going towards or what we're going to do with them, or, it's just something further out, obviously for the Secret of Praetoria that Matt is trying to build to. But there's no time frame for that. And we don't know, what's going to happen. And when you think about it, it's just SPS and research that are the things that burn resources in land, right? So before it was only grain that we needed to burn, and even still, we got a huge, massive surplus of grain. Now we're starting to mint a bunch of other resources, right? There's 3 more natural resources that have all come down in price, and I would say it's not necessarily that they've come down. It's just we're normalizing and still finding like the equilibrium for it. But it's important that more usage for Aura is out there. And so obviously we know that, the team is working on the Yabba's Pickle promo, which hopefully will be at some point this summer. If, with survival mode, we get the revival potions, that might be another use case for Aura. But because people no longer feel like they need to go for research, or those who are very far ahead feel like, okay, they can slow down on research, what you want them to do is not transition to some of the other resources because that creates resource inflation. You want them to do things that burn these resources, right? You want people to chase the stuff that they actually need in game. Now, the other thing that I haven't mentioned yet is something that should be coming up hopefully this month or next month, which are conflicts, right? The conflicts for Conclave Arcana. And that kind of bypasses Aura, right? That is something that will have direct utility for the resources themselves. So that should be very helpful. But keep in mind that that is something that is probably, it's not like an ongoing thing. And I suppose neither is like our Midnight Potions, right? At some point we will run out of packs, whether they sell out of the shop or whether they just, sell out in general. And we kind of have a lull period between this set and whatever the next set is. But my hope is that the team is going to continue finding more areas for Aura. And so far, like the Yabba's Pickle promo for the Arcanes, right? That was an unexpected or kind of like surprise use case for it. I think the only other area that I was looking at was survival mode or revival potions, right, as well as land. But considering where we're at now and people just farming Aura, not really sure what to do with it or what not to do with it, my guess is that we will start to see more of these things pop up over the next couple of months. Now, I don't know what that could be. I have no idea in terms of what the team is kind of thinking or working on, but to the team's credit, they've been pleasantly surprising us with a lot of cool new updates and features and things here and there. So my hope is that as we get into the back half of this year, which hopefully, and I know I'm like fingers crossed that this will be the time period that, Bitcoin starts to do its thing and we get a decent sized alt season that can bring new players in, that brings a lot of enthusiasm back to the space, right? Specifically crypto gaming, and can really be a boon and a help to like this ecosystem, the Splinterlands ecosystem. That is my hope, like that we'll have that backdrop, but it will also be a fantastic time for the team to utilize a lot of this attention, a lot of this energy, a lot of this potential capital coming in that might be interested in getting, participating in land to put out more things that land can do. I know Matt is on this track to get land 2.0 out, and he doesn't want to take too many deviations, but I've been actually very happy with some of the deviations that they've taken. So my hope is that either they start to get some of these chunks of land 2.0 out, or they put in very strategic deviations in quarter 3, right? So we'll say like July through September, Q3 and Q4, we'll call it, right, through the end of the year, that will help to keep land fresh and exciting and just an area in which people want to go and chase this cool new thing in the game because it's fun, or it's a collectible, or it's just something that they need to have rather than just inflating resources even further. And keep in mind, we're only using like 20% of land at this point, right? So there's a lot more land that can come online, which means that we could inflate these resources even higher. But the good part of that, from a flywheel perspective, is that in order to get that land online, we will require a lot more DEC, specifically 6 billion DEC, right? I think we're only at like 1.5 billion DEC right now, and land in total should take around like 7.5 billion DEC. So that would be super helpful for us because we got to see a little bit of the flywheel in action with Conclave Arcana, but you get my point here. So as we move forward, this is the reason why I'm going to be very curious to see what the team does with Aura, but also just why it's super important because it has become this proxy for research. And I would say most folks are just not as interested in research right now because they don't know what it means. At least with Aura, as it is a proxy for research, or at least it shows that you've done research. People are able to monetize certain things, right? So whether it's potions now, whether it's Yabba's Pickle in the future, whatever it is, like people are able to monetize that or have some kind of indirect thing or even just access, right, to these items in the future. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That is all I have for you guys in this video. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.